Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a PMDG 777 beta tester. We have finally gotten a new sound pack for the PMDG 777 and this one comes from FTSim Plus. Now if you're not familiar with FTSim Plus already, they did do quite a couple of amazing sound packs for other aircraft in the past. Then go ahead and check them out on their Patreon. For about $2 per month you can get the subscription, over which you can download this sound pack. So, let's go ahead and check it out. Now, I have turned the aircraft sounds up and my personal volume down a little bit in this video so that we can hear the sounds a bit better. And we can start straight away by just listening to what we have at the moment. This is currently with the air conditioning unit connected, as is standard here in Dubai, and the packs and the recirculation fans turned off. So just listen to this. Now let's go ahead and remove the air conditioning unit, and then we are going to check out what it sounds like when we turn the packs and the recirc fans on. So listen to this. Sounds, in my opinion, quite a bit better than the standard PMDG sounds already. And now let's go ahead and prepare our aircraft for the pushback so that we can start to experience the full experience as it's meant to be. This is going to be a short flight from Dubai over to Bahrain, which is approximately 50 minutes, and on this one we are going to focus on our sounds rather than on procedural accuracy and stuff. So I still aim to fly the aircraft correctly, but we'll do a little bit less of the realism stuff and a little bit more of the, let's say a little bit more of the sound focused stuff. Okay then, let's go ahead and do the before start checklist. Flight deck door, closed and blocked, MCP 161.299 4000, takeoff speeds V1 150, VR 155, V2 161, CDU pre-flight complete, trim 4.75 units 0 and 0, taxi and takeoff briefing completed, holding at the beacon. Okay, so then let's go ahead and remove the chocks. Anything else is disconnected already. And then let's request our pushback. So the nose is gonna go on to the left today. Beacon on. Ground from cockpit. Go ahead. So please confirm doors, hatches closed, ground equipment removed, and bypass pin is installed. That's all confirmed, Captain. And we're ready to push. Okay, cleared push. Facing east. Park and brake released. Roger, start on the push. Now let's go ahead and listen to it from the outside here. I do think this is a pretty good position where we can listen to our engine starts. So with that prepared, let's go ahead and start the engines. Starting right engine. Okay, that's a good start on the right engine, start on the left engine. This one we'll do from the flight deck. And that's 2 good starts. So you can remove all the ground equipment and advise when clear, please. Okay, flight control check except for the rudder. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, we got a hydraulic pressure demand left ICAS caution here. Now, I'll just quickly do the Airbus pilot. Oh, I accidentally turned it off even. Okay, well, let's turn it on. And the warning's gone away. Excellent. So, just gotta wait to see our handling agent then. And here he comes. Okay, looks like we've got a couple of aircraft in front of us anyway. Well, the engine is going, so rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Hand signals received before taxi checklist. Anti-ice. Auto, recall, checked. Flight controls, checked. Ground equipment, clear. Well then. Lights coming on, clear left side, clear right side, and clear behind. So, let's give this one a go, shall we? New taxi sounds as well, let's listen to those. We can certainly hear some rumbling noises in there from the nose gear going over the tarmac. Now, they're not very loud, which does make sense. If you think about it, the nose wheel is about, I believe it's 3.7 meters behind you. So, for sure there has to be a difference in comparison to your favorite 737 or A320. But we do certainly hear some noise here of the nose wheel going over the ground. I do like that. Okay, we're gonna cross the runway in Kilo 11 up here. You can hear some of the strain on the aircraft, can you? That's pretty cool. Okay, let's just accelerate a little bit here. I know that there is an aircraft on a 2.5 mile final, but I'm sure we can make this. And I want to hear what it sounds like when we taxi a bit faster. Okay then, cabin ready is received. Before takeoff checklist complete. Okay then, the guy's landing over there. Then, let's just see they didn't put... Oh yeah, there's a second aircraft on approach to our runway as well. That's interesting, that's only what the AI can do. We'll just have to stop it here then, wait for the other aircraft. So, first impression then, the air conditioning sounds are quite nice. The engine sounds on the inside were pretty good as well. On the outside, I don't know, I think it's a bit too quiet. This doesn't really sound, I don't know. But from the inside, I have a really good impression there. And, well, taxi sounds, certainly an improvement. And I think that's my first verdict over here. So then, let's go ahead and line up on 30 right. Aircraft is currently on the roll. Now let's do full tiller input. Let's see if that produces a sound. Not really, yeah? In the real plane you can sometimes hear some Chewbacca-like sound, but unfortunately that doesn't seem to be part of this package quite yet. Okay, the preceding guy is still on the runway. Let's wait for him to taxi off, and then we are good to go. Yeah, that's the shadow from the guy on the other runway there. Okay, and he is turning off. Excellent. Then, landing lights coming on. The before takeoff checklist was completed. Cabin crew, prepare for departure. Okay, and with that, we are good to go. Takeoff. Now I'm excited. Thrust set.
8 knots.
Checked. Sounds pretty nice, those engines, don't they?
V1. Rotate. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. $400. Autopilot. So, engines changing to climb thrust, that was pretty neat. Just that tiny change in pitch. Okay, flaps 1. We'll do a speed intervent here, retract the flaps all the way. And then we've got flaps up. After takeoff checklist complete. Okay, let's continue all the way to our cruising level 260. Set, and 260 is checked. Now let's listen to this from the outside. I do have to admit, on the outside it feels like there could be a little bit more roar, a little bit more power to it. From the inside, it seems to sound really great, doesn't it? I think that's kind of my first impression, my first verdict over here for those sounds. Awesome view on the city of Dubai once again. And going right over the world, aren't we? There it comes. So, the only couple of world islets that actually have some progress on them, as in people actually building something on them, right down here. I do believe that's a couple of exclusive clubs they've built over here. It certainly sounds more impressive from the inside than from the outside, doesn't it? I do have to say I very much like the inside sounds. I really like them very much. Okay then, we are past the 220 speed restrictions. We'll give the speed control back to the aircraft. Not all that much of a cruise today, not for 777 at least, that's for sure. So what we will do is we will wait until the acceleration is complete at flight level 100 or at 10,000 feet, and then we are going to turn on a little bit of time acceleration so that we can get forward to our descent a little bit quicker, so that we can listen to the sounds on the approach and landing. The focus on this video most definitely is the sounds and not the operation of the aircraft, but I have a couple of full long hauls coming again very soon, if you're interested. So, going through 100, now let's listen to the difference in the wind sound as we start accelerating. So that's some onset here, right about between 280 and 290. Oh, that got quite a bit louder. Now, that matches my experience in the 737. That's roughly the speed where it starts to really get loud. So that does seem quite accurate to me. Even though, of course, I have to say I've never flown a 777, only the full flight sim, and the sounds really are not all that important in the simulator. So, okay, let's go ahead and turn a little bit of acceleration on. Maybe we can listen to some difference in the sound as we go up to higher level. And of course set standard. Standard cross-check level 141 now. Alright, let's listen to this. You can slowly hear that wind sound get a bit louder, can you? Okay, 2,000 to go, vertical speed. 1,000 to go. Okay, back to real time. Let's see how big the change is when the thrust changes as we level off. Now I think I could hear a little bit of a change in the background, but by now it's mostly the wind noise that has taken over, and that matches my experience in any of the jets that I have flown so far. Let's do a little experiment. We'll just slow down a little bit and listen to how big the change really is in the sounds when the engines are running down. So a little bit of change in the background there, not all that much. Let's go ahead and have them spool all the way up now. So that's a nice roar that we can hear in the background there. Now, as mentioned, I haven't flown an actual 777 in the cockpit yet, but based on my experience with the 737, with the A330, this is very believable. This is very believable indeed. So a little bit of time acceleration on again, so that the flight doesn't take us too long over here. Overall, we do want to focus on the sounds. So a quick reminder again, if you do like these sounds, you can get them from FTSim Plus, and you can find him on his Patreon. Membership costs about $2 per month at the lowest level, which is sufficient to get access to the PMDG 777 sounds. And it's a one-time download, so if you really just want to get those sounds, you can become a member for $2 plus tax, so something like $2.40 or so. You can become a member, get those sounds, and if you really don't want to support him any further, you can simply unsubscribe again. And then you've got that sound pack for $2.40, which in my opinion is a pretty good grab. A pretty very good grab indeed. Now, I'm sure he's going to do some updates in the future with a couple of things like the outside sounds. So you might have to resubscribe at some point, costing you another couple dollars to get the updates, but in my opinion, really worth it. I do really like those sounds. In my opinion, they leave a very good first impression. Okay, so let's go ahead and start preparing for our arrival. So we're going towards OBBI. And give me a single weather request off the PMDG server here, please. And here it is, 314, 40 degrees, 90907. I do have to admit, it is kind of hard to stay quiet here for a bit, just so that you guys can enjoy the sounds. It's so different from what I usually do on the channel. So, nothing in the notes as of yet. Load that up. So, starting at Ordic. And we might just about want to insert some constraint here. So if we go from Lovak direct to the final approach fix, let's actually go out of time acceleration here for a bit. So CI after Lovak, then what do we get? That's really low, 5,000 feet, but that seems believable. So that stuff is in. Approaching top of descent then. Reset MCP altitude. Let's do that. All the way down to the platform, 3000. So 12.2 versus 14.2 minus 2000. Let's make it a bit less. Landing weight 227.5. That should cover for any possible shortcut as well. Okay, and finally the minimum, and then we have it already. So, cat delta 273. Okay, descent checklist. Recall, checked. Notes, checked. Auto brake, 3. Landing data, Vero 30142, minimum Sparrow 273. Approach briefing completed, descent checklist complete. And down we go. You barely hear those engines run down, do you? But I think that is believable because, well, it's the wind noise and the avionic and general cockpit noises that make most of the sound in cruise. The engines are located so far aft, you barely hear them. And I think that that's quite accurate. Okay then, let's accelerate this one again a little bit. Going all the way down, the next larger change I expect is about at 10,000 feet. But of course we have a general listen here as well. So constant indicated airspeed roundabout, couple knots don't really make a difference. And as long as the indicated speed is constant, we are more or less getting a constant noise level in the cockpit as well. Now, what we can try here is what happens if we just accelerate all the way to the maximum. Let's do a level change. Now it should get really loud. This is in real time again, by the way. I have to admit, I would have expected a little bit more of a change there. I would certainly have expected it to get a bit louder than this. We could hear a difference, but at least in any of the aircraft that I have flown, the difference would have been larger than this. Okay, back to VNAV, let's slow down again. FMC message, drag required, that's because it's within 5 knots of the overspeed. Nothing to worry about. And you, my friend, can stay on idle thrust. I have to say I would have expected a little bit more change in the wind noise at this point. Of course, again, I don't have 777 experience in the real world, But what I can say is in the A330, if we descend at 300 knots, we can normally talk just fine without headsets. If we descend at 320 knots, then we do need the headsets. So it really does make a difference at these speeds. And if we descend at 270 knots, then it's all easy going anyway. Okay, re-intercepting the path. Nonetheless, I do believe there is a change, so maybe they can just amplify that change a little bit more. Then it would be great. Okay, set QNH. QNH 997 cross-check, passing 14,000 now. Checked. So, is that Qatar off the left? Yeah, I think it is. Where is Doha? Has to be over here somewhere, right? It's really been a while since I've been there. So, let's forward a little bit. Some bits of acceleration coming on over here. The next change is at 10,000, close to Ordic. And over there we do expect it to become a little bit more quiet once again. So, out of acceleration. Pitching up to slow down, and now it should once again become notably more quiet. I would probably have expected an even bigger change than what we have right now. Just a little bit more. So overall, I think, based on this short cruise profile that we've just had, we could have expected the overall effect of the wind to be a little bit greater on our sound. Okay, approach checklist. Altimeters, QNH 997. Approach checklist complete. So, let's forward a bit again. So, speed is getting rather high. Let's see if we can make out any difference when we are using the speed brake. So, back to real time here. Let's go ahead and put out the speed brake. I don't really notice anything, do you? No. I would have expected a little bit of some more subtle rumble. Like normally when the speed brakes are getting extended, you don't hear it all that strong in cockpits. But what you do hear, or rather what you do feel, is that rumble that they create by disturbing the airflow. And that's something that I would kind of expect in the simulation as well. Because normally you do somewhat hear it. It's a combination of hearing and feeling. So if something related to the speed brakes could be implemented at some point, I do think that would be pretty nice. Okay, so let's do an intercept course over here. More or less on profile. Nice. Wants to be at 200 knots there. That's a little bit fast. Let's do 180. And here we go. And tell you what, we're gonna use flight level change here. So go to idle quickly. That's what we used to do a lot in the Boeing. When the thing doesn't go to idle quick enough, just take the thrust levers, slam them into the idle detent. That's just one of those Boeing things, I guess. And we might even want to help it a little bit to get down. Look at that, even with half speed brake we're getting 2,000 feet a minute out of the aircraft. That's just really, really beautiful, isn't it? I really like the way the 777 flies. It's a very well made aircraft, you can absolutely feel that. This is made by... well, I don't want to say made by pilots, because obviously it's engineers designing this, but you can really feel that Boeing put a lot into a flight modeling, or rather into a behavior of the aircraft in flight that really, number one, is very efficient, because those very shallow rates of descents you can feel here, of course, come with the side effect that the aircraft has very little drag, which in turn reduces fuel flow, but they gave us a speed brake which is so wonderfully effective that even though the aircraft really glides very, very well by default, if you take that speed brake, it really starts to decelerate. Okay then, let's start slowing down. Flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. So, did we complete the approach checklist? I do believe we did. Yes, we did. So, our airport is right over there. Flaps 5. Speed checked. So, right turn 270 cleared ILS approach. And then our platform is just just 1500, so we can go all the way down. Maybe a little bit of speed brake again to help us get into the glide slope. Localizer capture. Runway is at our 12 o'clock. Quite a strong headwind here, 20 knots. Glide slope capture. Go around altitude 2500 set. Right. So let's listen to the sound when the nose gear doors open up when we extend the landing gear.
2500.
That's really something I like. And flaps 30. Wow, that headwind really makes the deceleration very easy today. Okay, landing checklist. Landing checklist complete. You start hearing that howl of the engine just above 60%, I feel. So a little bit of sound from the engine. Again, that meets my expectations, but not too much. The majority of the sound still comes from everything you have within the cockpit. But the engines are subtle, but you feel that they are there. I like that. Okay, let's go manual. And just for practice purposes, we'll take the auto throttle off as well. Ooh, that's quite an additional headwind here. That was easily a wind shift of some 10 knots we just gained. Checked. Oh, and the wind is dying off again. This was a very nice example of what you can tolerate within the stable approach criteria. The speed was off what the normal target is, but if it's due to external influences and you can get it right back, like we basically just did, then there basically is no problem. So you can recover to that and continue the flight. You don't have to go around for something like that. Quite a thermal over here again. We have visual.
Minimums.
Continue.
$100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
The loudest noise comes from the nose wheel. I like that, but the reversers are well audible. That's how I expect it to be. Okay, manual brakes. Let's go. Let's turn the reversers off again. Well, and here we are. Welcome to Bahrain. I sure hope that you enjoyed this one. I really liked the nose wheel sound on this one, because you could just really figure when it touched down with the nose wheel, and you really heard it get louder with increasing speed, respectively more quiet with decreasing speed, which was an effect that I really appreciated here. So after landing items. Well, and then we can taxi to the gate and make our verdict over here. My first impression though, I do believe they're an improvement over the default PMDG sounds, even though I think that there is still some more room for improvement here, but they absolutely show a good first impression, and we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail as soon as we reach our gate. So it looks like we don't really get the time to do single engine taxi here. We haven't even reached the 3 minutes shutdown period yet. Okay, gate number 12 is ours. So, weather radar and lights are off. That's the stuff that can hurt your ground crew. So that's the important stuff that I always check going into a gate. Then 777 is over here. The ground marking. Brake set, APU running. Shutdown. I like how long the engines take to actually run down here. That's something that I think PMDG worked on in the beta as well, but certainly something that they needed to improve. And well, right now I can't say whether that improvement comes from FTSim or whether it comes from PMDG. Certainly compared with some earlier versions, that is different now. Okay, shutdown checklist, park and brake, set, shutdown checklist complete. And then we can go ahead and connect our ground equipment straight away. Set shocks, request jetway, request drum power, request air conditioning unit. Alright, and here we are. So, a quick look into the cabin to see if any sounds have changed in the cabin. No, it's pretty quiet over here. To be fair, I hear almost nothing. Well, that's not... No, that's not how it should be. Let's see if anything changes if we turn the packs and the recirc fans on again. But there should certainly be some more sounds in the cabin. Now, you shouldn't do this with... You shouldn't do this with an air conditioning unit connected. Yeah, this is more like it. This is quite good, actually. So it's apparently only just the air conditioning unit that doesn't seem to produce the sounds I would expect. Apart from that, I have to say this is quite nice. Well, okay, we're going to use this setting then for our final verdict. So FTSim Plus sounds for the PMDG Boeing 777. Well, in my opinion, for the price that they come at, if you just want to grab them and do nothing else, then become a Patreon for FTSim Plus for a month. Costs you $2 and you can download the set. Now, I do recommend to stay with him for longer as he's producing quite some very nice stuff for other aircraft as well, such as the PMDG 737. So my recommendation is really to stay with him for longer, but if you only just want to grab these sounds, it's $2. And in my opinion, that is some very well invested $2 over here. Now, the sound pack isn't perfect yet, as we have talked about. Things like the effect of the wind based on the speed is something that could be improved. But, well, for $2, that is complaining on a high level. Now, on the other hand side, there are some very good signs there as well, like the engine startup sounds on the inside, or the engine takeoff sounds. Generally, the engine sounds are really standing out here as a great improvement over the default PMDG sounds. Now, nonetheless, I do surely hope that PMDG is also going to provide us with a sound update in the future, but I think for now, this comes at a very reasonable price for bringing us a pretty immersive addition to the product. And I think that's a very good verdict for this little test flight. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I sure hope that you liked this one. Leave your feedback in the comments below. And with that, all I can say is thank you very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you like what I am doing, or if you like what FTSim Plus is doing, why not consider a small donation? Thank you very much, and if you want to learn how to fly the PMDG 777 like the pros, check out my 777 ebook. More on that in the video description below. Thank you for watching, everyone, and then I see you all again on the next one.